Shalom, Shalom, Israel. Call Halayim La, YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHWASHI, BAHASHAM, Provocateurs. Double honors to the elders and apostles, a great millstone, and teaching them well. Peace and salutations be to the elect. I'm Brother Tazwan, coming at you from the province in Babylon, camp here in Tampa, Florida. This lesson is going to be going into, well, let's see, the title of the article we have says, Mystery Donor is seen supplying wartime face shields for demonstrators. Basically going into the riots in LA. All right, which now you also have riots here in supposedly there's riots going on in Tampa. There's even bigger riots going on in New York City. Okay, so the country's going up in turmoil. You know, I was just speaking with the brothers, man. Hopefully these LA riots stem into something nationwide, because you know that is a big scene, a big cause for concern. So people being snatched up from their homes, parents being snatched from their children, and the videos going out about this is becoming more and more gruesome. Okay, and it feels like unrighteous decrees have been declared upon Jake. Okay, so now you got the world up in turmoil and rioting, and it's only going to get worse until these devils actually start. I was watching a video yesterday where these devils were using rubber rounds on the people at the riots and shot some lady in the head, and her head was leaking. Okay, but this devil's gonna actually start using lethal force to get everybody in order. All right, Trump deployed the military out there to LA to help clean up LA, to help deport and calm the people down, because supposedly there's a lot of so-called immigrants in LA, right? So a lot of ICE deportations are going on out there. So we can get right into it, because this is all scriptural. This is all scriptural. It says 2 Ezra chapter 9 and verse 1. He said, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. So uproars of the people and riots in the world is part of the signs that we're supposed to see. Okay, so this means the Lord has already begun to visit this world. All right, it says, therefore when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, which the riot going on in LA, you got the police versus the people. All right, tear gas being thrown, flashbangs being thrown, police cars being attacked, vandalized. Okay, these are uproars. These ain't protests or peaceful protests. These ain't some kind of peaceful gathering. No, this is an uproar. All right, which if you go into the definition of uproar, let's grab it in the Edema online. Uproar, it says a noun. It says outbreak of great disorder, revolt, violent commotion. Okay, tumult, riot, literally a stirring up. Right, so it says to move, stir, shake, noisy shouting. So basically it says outbreak of great disorder, revolt, violent commotion. So we're having violent commotions here in LA, New York City, and now supposedly here in Florida as well, because many people are getting deported here in Florida also. You got a lot of MANASSEH that comes here to Florida, okay, from Cuba, whether it be on boats. They got something going on in Cuba where they send boats to Florida because it's not too far across seas. Okay, and that's how they get here into the Americas. So there's a lot of deportations going on down there in Miami as well, because there's so many immigrants there. But it says outbreak of great disorder. So they're going against the government. All right, otherwise you got that scripture, sedition among men, which we'll grab that too. Just grab it and hold it. so we don't forget. Okay, so it says, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. Okay, so the Lord spoke of these days. Now you understand that these things were spoken of from the beginning. Okay, before the world was even made. These things were prophesied to happen. Alright, so you got the prophets on scene that's been prophesying these things to happen for 30 plus years. You know, but these things have actually been spoken of since the beginning of time. Since life was created. Alright? For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest, even so the times also of the highest have plain beginnings and wonder and powerful works and endings and effects and signs. So these are the signs and effects that we're reaching the end of this world. Okay, especially because these riots and uproars are happening because of the attacks that are being placed upon Jake. Okay, which goes into Jacob's trouble as well. Let's grab that. Run through these real quick. Jeremiah 30:7. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Right? So it's even the time of Jacob's trouble, which means Jacob goes into Israel, which is Northern Kingdom and Southern Kingdom. The so-called Native Americans, Latinos, and so-called Negroes are going to be heavily oppressed in these days. Okay? But you're starting to see it already. As soon as Trump got in office, he said he's going to make something shake upon Northern Kingdom, and you know what that means. All right, let's grab it. Because once you come for one part of Israel, you got to come for all of it. Jeremiah 15:33. Thus saith the Lord, YAHAWASHI of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together, and all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go. All right, so we were oppressed together, and we were always oppressed together whenever we got oppressed, man. So here it is, Northern Kingdom being oppressed first, and now guess what? Southern Kingdom is going to follow soon after, shortly after. Okay, they may come up with something like a deal or a settlement. Hey, you want to be a citizen? You got to get with this new program and accept the chip, accept the implant. Okay, and that's going to be something that's going to be a problem for both Northern Kingdom and Southern Kingdom. All right, and if you don't, you're gonna be considered an enemy of the state. Okay. Right here in the book of I believe it was Matthew chapter 24. No, Matthew chapter 26, and no, it is Matthew chapter 24, and let's grab it. Book of Matthew chapter 24 and verse 7, it says, for nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. Okay, so here it is. You got these nations rising up against nations, and kingdoms against kingdoms. Here it is. America's going at it with all these other kingdoms. All right, but also attacking Israel within its country. Okay. So America's at war inward and outwardly, which is not looking good for America, right? In the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 15 and verse 15. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. So here it is. It's about to start getting lethal. Okay, and then you got it where there's these So you got it to where there's these so-called mystery donors that are donating military grade equipment, police grade equipment for the riots. Okay, they're just dropping equipment down there in LA, getting everybody prepared, getting everybody geared up for the riots. They're giving them paddings, knee pads, face gear, face shields, elbow pads, and things like this of that nature to go ahead and go up against these policemen. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. Okay, so look, they're gonna start getting donated swords, guns, and actual fighting gear. And you got such a thing called crisis actors, where these devils actually will fan the flames so that they can bring order out of chaos, and they send people in there to make them look like they're a part of that riot, or they stand for the cause that the people that are rioting stand for. Okay, make them seem like they're on the same side, but really they're just undercover cops or undercover agents that's provoking an outcome, provoking a situation to get a certain outcome. Okay, that's what America does. All right, and they'll send these people out there like you had during the time of 2020, where people was going and busting the windows, and you had the actual rioting people, the people that are protesting, saying, hey, don't be busting those windows, what are you doing? You're making us look like we're criminals. Okay, which is being done so that what? These devils can come down with great wrath upon the people, upon Jake. All right, which we'll come back to this, but I want to grab some more on this article. It says, in end time headlines, it says, in a puzzling development during a recent Los Angeles protest, demonstrators were seen receiving an unexpected equipment, riot gear, that appeared to be distributed by unknown individuals. The incident, which took place amid escalating tensions during a demonstration over policing and policing and civil rights, has triggered a wave of speculation and concern from community leaders, legal experts, and city officials. It says, according to Newsweek, multiple eyewitnesses reported that individuals not affiliated with law enforcement or any known activist organizations were handing out items typically associated with riot preparedness. Okay, and what do you think they're doing that for? Okay, Trump wants a reaction out of you niggas so they can come down with great wrath upon you and have more of the reason to deport you. Okay, but if you see those riots, it's getting pretty crucial out there. It says, this included shields, helmets, and protective pads, gear usually used by police or seasoned protest groups. It says, we're bringing that back, gear usually used by police or seasoned protest groups. So who will be donating these things for a riot? Okay, who will be the mystery donors? And they said he seemed to have no origin. Like, you don't know if he's for the police or he's for the for the people. He ain't a part of no group, none of that. They don't know where these people are coming from, but they're out there dropping gear to provoke the situation. It says, it goes on. It says, however, the origins of this gear as well as the identities of the distributors remain unknown. Videos circulated online showing small groups of people handing out the gear to protesters shortly before clashes began with police. So they gave them that's what Esau do. He'll give you your downfall. He'll give you the tools you need to destroy yourself or get you fucked up. So they gave them the tools they need to destroy themselves, right? To go to war against this devil's military. Okay, it says video was circulated online. Well, we finished that part. Some activists expressed confusion and caution, suspecting that this could be part of a broader attempt to incite violence or justify a stronger police response. See, it says, we don't know who these people were. So they want to, like we said, agent provocateurs. They want to provoke a stronger response from police, which may cause them to, because like we brought out earlier, they're using rubber rounds already. They're already using rubber rounds, and a woman got shot in the head by a rubber round. You had a news reporter who got shot in the leg from a rubber round. Okay, while recording out there. Okay, so them bringing out this equipment is going to cause the military to come down with greater force, and maybe even lethal force. Okay, it says, quote unquote, "We don't know who these people were," said one protester who asked to remain anonymous. "They weren't with us and they seemed very organized. It didn't feel right." Okay, so now they're feeling like somebody's orchestrating these riots. The rioters themselves starting to feel like these riots are being orchestrated, which they probably are. Most likely they are. 9 times out of 10, Esau has a hand in these things. It says, Los Angeles city officials have said they are aware of the situation and are investigating. A spokesperson for the LAPD confirmed that no city agency or police unit authorized the distribution of riot equipment to civilians. Of course you did. It's a secret agency. Okay? And they got devils working in secret groups. They got secret agents, top-level agents that never get used until situations like this happen. All right? It says, speculation is growing over the motive behind the mysterious handout. Some civil rights advocates, Salakia, fear the gear could have been introduced to provoke confrontations, either by making protesters look more aggressive or encouraging resistance against law enforcement. Others have even raised the possibility of external agitators, either far right or far left groups, attempting to escalate tensions for political ends. Okay, and far right, Republic, Democratic. Okay, which they think the Democrats could maybe have a hand in this. Maybe the Republicans could have had a hand in this. Okay, it says these are dangerous tactics, said Alicia Martinez, a public policy analyst based in LA. Giving protesters gear that mimics law enforcement can lead to deadly misunderstandings in high-stress situations. Whoever is behind this is playing with fire, which if you see that video where the woman got shot in the head by the rubber round and she was leaking out, the people were freaking out and the police themselves were freaking out, those that shot her. Okay? Well, why don't you back up? If you would have never started the situation, this would have never happened. This is what the police was saying to the guys that were recording. He said, why would you do that, you effing idiot? You know, so these people are arguing amongst each other like, hey man, this wasn't scripted. You actually shot her in the head. This wasn't a part of the script. He said, well, you coming up and you making us anxious. What are we supposed to do? Okay, so these people are only human. They can only follow the script and the provocations for so long before they actually start getting very violent. Things are about to get deadly. Okay, and you see these riots and protests are spreading around the country. And that means more agent provocateurs are going to be put into the mix to make these situations more deadly. Before you know it, you got a nationwide civil war. Okay? As it says in Jeremiah 30:7, that Jacob's trouble. Okay, it ain't going to be a time like it. There's never been a time like it. Or never going to be a time like it. But Jacob's trouble is where Israel is going to be in trouble. It says, for there shall be, in 2nd Ezra 15:16, for there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. So this right now is PG-13 riots. But soon these riots are about to get rated R. You're going to see heads busted open on the floor. Okay, you're going to see craniums split open. You're going to see people bleeding out. People crying for their loved ones. Okay, longing for their loved ones as they've been spread out across the road, man. Okay? Things are only going to get worse from here, but it's only going to get better for us. Worse for this world, better for the world to come. All right? So next thing I give all glory, honor, praises unto Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, Shalom.